Good morning. It's the Bucket List. This morning we are chatting with Gerard Whately from SEN. Hello, Gerard. Welcome to the Bucket List.
Diana, lovely to be with you.
Now, our show's called The Bucket List, Gerard. Now, you've covered sport all over the world.
Yeah.
What kind of events have stood out to you as being just exceptional and defining for you? And is there stuff out there that you haven't got to yet that you really want to see?
A FIFA World Cup final appeals to me enormously. So I've been extremely lucky as Olympics loom large. So I've been poolside and called Michael Phelps breaking world records and winning gold medals, as well as what's happened with Australians along the way. I will always think fondly of being there that day at Royal Ascot for Black Caviar. We were in the awnings of the grandstand. So we're in the roof of the grandstand in a top hat and tails and looking down this majestic old course for sort of a crowning moment. There are those days that offer that. I remember walking into Flemington for Mackaybe's third Melbourne Cup and thinking, if this does happen, it's something that you want to have taken in, you want to appreciate it, and then you want to remember it. And, Royal Ascot that day there were Australians everywhere, and we were moving the furniture around, so we were behaving like proper colonists. We'd taken over sort of the royal grounds for the day, and there were people in their dresses, which was salmon and black polka dots. And no one ever asked themselves, does salmon really suit me? And the answer is always no. But so we all trooped the colours, and then she won in circumstances which weren't quite as joyful at the time, but the parties in the aftermath. And so I'm a sports fan at heart. This is what I dreamt of as a kid, being able to go to days like this and then being able to share it with those who can't be there. So that's the flavour, that's the tapestry of the day. You know, most of the time we barrack for our footy team, so AFL is pretty high on my list, and I've always loved the rhythms of cricket.
Going to be a huge winter of cricket. Obviously, the World Cup coming up fairly shortly and then followed quickly by the Ashes.
Yep.
Will Australia bounce back?
I don't think they'll win the World Cup. Thankfully, they've found some one-day form over the past month, which gives them a bit of confidence. But their one-day form in England is pretty rickety over a decent period of time. So even though they're excellent in tournament play, which England aren't, South Africa aren't. So there is that, I think there's that mental edge potentially, but I don't expect them to go particularly well in the World Cup. The Ashes intrigues me. I think England are likely to win the Ashes at home, which is a safe premise because it hasn't happened for nearly 20 years. But I think there are elements where Australia, if they were really smart, could trouble England, like playing James Pattinson in the right test match on the right day and blasting England out and making it a low-scoring affair. But I suspect what we know is when the ball moves, when the Duke's ball moves under overcast skies in England, and this is multi-generational, this is sort of the great tremor in Australian sport, I don't expect that that's been solved.
No.
So if we get to Edgebaston and it's overcast and a green top, I think we would all approach it with hands over our eyes.
I think there's even more scrutiny on the ball right at this point in time, more than there ever has been before. So I've got to ask you the question now, Lords or the MCG?
I think Lords for the history of it. I haven't been to a day of cricket at Lords. I have been to Lords, but I haven't seen a day of cricket there yet. Maybe that's taking the MCG for granted. Maybe that's a poor form by me. The MCG is our cathedral. There is that air of history. You can actually breathe it in, I reckon, when you go to Lords. So, yes, you talk about bucket lists. I want to be there for a day of Ashes cricket as well before I'm done.
Definitely. It's worthwhile. And, the other one is really for kind of novelty value is the Holly Stand at Edgebaston, obviously, because Mr. Warne, Mr. Smith, and if Bancroft makes the side, they're going to absolutely copy it from the Barmy Army all 5 days in Edgebaston, and it's pretty full on. So that could be, I'd love to be a fly on the wall, I think, there.
And that crowd will know its role. Like that, they are an active participant in the sporting event, which is rare.
Yep.
And that's, somebody said to me the other day that's what Steve Smith is going to have to get used to, the idea of being booed and all that comes with that. And when you think about that is the ferocity of the environment. I think Warne will thrive in it. He's got that villainous streak. And I'd be careful how I use that against Warne. But Smith is the clean-cut kid who never did anything wrong until he got tied into all of this. It'll be a big reality for him walking around the English summer getting hooted everywhere he turns.
True.
And it won't be the easiest thing to conquer.
Yeah. Now, the other things are there other kind of niche, weird, wonderful, strange sporting events that you kind of want to get to and see for yourself?
So my guilty pleasure is wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go to a WrestleMania.
Wow.
Because I think it's got that edge of Hollywood to it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so I went to the show at the MCG
Yeah.
after the grand final last year. It was brilliant. Like the 12-year-old in me who's still there just loved it. That's my silly guilty pleasure.
Right, there you go. I would have never have ever pegged you for that. That's for sure.
Thank you so much, Gerard Whately on the bucket list.